Hey guys, and welcome back to a brand new video and yet another episode of my F1 2018 career mode. Today we are here for the finale of season 4 and let's see what happens here. We're here for Abu Dhabi and pretty much we're going to try and go out with a bang at this race. I'm going to be running cockpit view for this race weekend, a bit of a special, a one-off for those that do like it and have been requesting it in the comments down below. It's pretty much our swan song with Williams, a very brief stint with those guys, and we're going to try and end on a high and hopefully we can have a good race weekend before we jump back into season 5 and back into the Mercedes seat, this time alongside Lewis Hamilton. Now this video will be going a little bit late because I have been out today, as you can tell. Hopefully it's not too late and you guys can still watch it. If not, then hopefully tomorrow you guys will catch it. But yeah, also if you did miss the last episode from yesterday around Brazil, then do check that race out by clicking the card in the top right hand corner of your screen. Now the webcam is going to go after this because when it comes to the cockpit view, unfortunately it's quite restrictive. When I put the webcam on, I've already tested it, so there won't be no webcam me speaking over qualifying. So yeah guys, hopefully you can understand it, but nonetheless, let's just delve into the video and let's see how the race weekend gets on. So delving into the race weekend now and onto the laptop, you can see sunny conditions pretty much throughout the entirety of the weekend expected. No rain obviously around Abu Dhabi. And in terms of the final developments of the season, you can see in the R&D chart there a couple of upgrades from some different teams, but generally you can see how close the grid is compared to the start of the season and how close the pack just really is now. It's so competitive, and we've done our part of bringing Williams back into the shuffle, and hopefully they can stay there next season. Hopefully that's what I'm kind of hoping for. But generally I'm looking for a good race weekend. You know, Abu Dhabi is a tricky track for me. It's one that I've struggled with in the past. I don't seem to do very well around here. The AI just like Brazil in the last race are very strong, and based up on Friday practice, the AI seem to be once again very strong around here, and I've got my work cut out to try and maybe even compete, because these guys really do have it hooked up around here, and there's not much I can do about it. The AI they're really good at braking, late braking on this year's game, which is something I'm not particularly great at, and that's where I lose a lot of time. But all in all, let's just see what happens, and hopefully we can have a good race and try and sign off with a positive note. Also, the other thing I'm hoping for not to struggle with this weekend is tyre temperatures, because obviously the desert conditions and also the rear tyres really get put through a workout around this circuit. So I'm kind of hoping that I can get around that in a way and hopefully perform at my best level. But as you can see, we're currently in our first of 3 runs in the qualifying session, and to be fair, our first one was very scruffy, not a spectacular lap by any means. We go last in P11 momentarily, then eventually time would progress. We went back out on another set of hypersofts. We were currently in last place, and now we're going to try and see if we can improve on our previous lap. And to be fair, I was happy with the setup. I use a setup from Tierra Limitless or Veloce Limitless. You can check out on his YouTube channel. But yeah, I'll try to give it a go with a couple of tweaks to try and see if I could keep a little bit more stability in the car, along with some also tyre temperature control. And generally it worked okay for me. I was quite happy. A little bit of understeer on the front end, but you know what, I was quite happy. I did struggle with some curbs, but generally it was a pretty balanced setup, and I was happy with it. Now we're going to run on board for my best lap of the session here, and to be fair, I was very happy with this. This was up there in terms of my best laps of the season. Now 10 seconds to go. We're going to try and get this lap done. As you can see, first of all, turn 1, you want to touch the inside curb, really get the car rotated, get the power as soon as you can, flat out through 2 and 3, of course, as you'd expect. And now you look for the brake zone down towards turn number 4. Just after the 100-meter board, really attack these curbs, especially that right-hand curb there. I really get that bit scruffy and lose a bit of time. Luckily though, we get a very nice tidy hairpin, and we bring the nose back in, and we gain a lot of time there on pretty much mid-apex / into corner exit. Definitely could have been a lot better there. I reckon there's about an easy 10th and a half on the table, maybe 2 tenths, if we kept that section a bit more smoother. But no brake just before the 50-meter board, down to second gear for this little left-right chicane combination over the curbs, and then on the power as soon as possible. Open up DRS as soon as it becomes available right about now, and then you're looking for the brake point for the next left-hander here, which feeds into a complex of chicanes. You want to brake pretty much on field. There's not really a reference point I can point out here that's glaringly obvious. It's more just about the confidence you've got in the car and how you can feel you can brake. Then that inside curb there, very important to really attack and take a massive chunk out of that corner as we now go through a double apex right into a 90-degree right. Very tricky corner, this one. Again, you want to try and pick up a nice bit of curb. Once again, this final sector is all about really being aggressive over the curbs and having a setup that allows you to drive the car over said curbs. Once again, 2 more corners to go, and to be fair, this was my mistake here. I ran wide, somehow that was invalidated, even though I'm pretty sure it was within the white lines, and it's a shame because we was on for an improvement of around half a second, but ultimately I don't think it would have meant anything, and I think we still would have got last place considering the improvement in the gap to Stroll. So yeah, all in all, I would have liked to have signed off with that lap. It didn't count. However, I'm not gutted because it wouldn't have changed anything. We still would have started from the back of the grid, and it seems like we are back to our usual struggles of being the slowest car around this circuit. But all in all, our last qualifying, not too bad. We start from the back of the grid. We still got a relatively fresh engine from the last race in the car, so hopefully we can try and perform. But with that being said, let's just jump into it here for the final race of Season 4 for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's go.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains here in the United Arab Emirates on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Anthony Davidson is alongside me as usual for the race today. Let's talk about Martinez. They've had a fantastic campaign. It's been a wonderful year, and they come into this weekend's Grand Prix as a fully deserving champion.
I agree it's been a truly impressive season, but championship or no, I don't think they'll be gently cruising around to the finish line. In fact, with points no longer a concern, there's a lot less to risk, so we may even see a more aggressive approach.
Well then, after an exciting qualifying session yesterday, let's take a look at how the cars line up. Sebastian Vettel will start on pole. Fantastic qualifying from the multiple world champion. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Raikkonen, Sainz, Lewis Hamilton and Perez, Alonso, Bottas, Ocon and Marcus Ericsson, Hülkenberg. They've taken a grid penalty. Ricciardo, Pierre Gasly and Verstappen, Van Dorn, Hartley, Kevin Magnussen and Lance Stroll. Martinez and Roman Grosjean starts from the back of the grid. Now it's almost time to lights out, so let's go down to the track.
Right then, here we are on the grid, P19 after penalties applied, and pretty much we're just going to go for broke and see what we can do. It's going to be a very similar race to Brazil in my opinion, maybe a little bit better in terms of end result, but it also depends on how our tyres hold on and if we can keep them without overheating. Now in terms of the strategy today, we are going to have the free choice of tyres, so we're going to start on the Ultra and transition over to the Super Soft. Pretty much if we can pull this off, we'll have a good chance of doing a good job this race, but it's going to be a very long race. There's going to be some struggles, I think. Fuel wise, we are one lap over, not too heavy, not light, because I want to try and be relatively light in terms of not having an overly fueled car, but a little bit of rich mix in reserve in case I need it. But pretty much, we're just going to have a little bit of fun this race, try and do our best in cockpit view, and try and sign off on a high with the Williams team. With that being said, here we go. It's the end of Season 4. It's time for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Let's go. Right, here we go then. Let's get ready for the 5 red lights here at Abu Dhabi. Lights are on. Lights out and away we go. Oh, decent start for a change. That is a nice little change. Down the inside of turn 1. Oh my god, Grosjean. Wow. What a dive that was from the Haas driver into turn 1. Oh my days. That was scary in many ways, but we've gained 3 places off the line. Oh, going to have to get to the inside here. A dive of my own. Yellow flag. We have to let Grosjean go. We've got a Toro Rosso of Gasly to my right-hand side. We're going to go down the inside of Pierre. Run it very wide into the hairpin on purpose to try and force him out. But we are up to P14 here. What a start in this race. Being aggressive, signing off in this Williams. We've got Gasly here going for the move. I'm going to do no replay cams this race to give you guys an authentic feel of the cockpit view. Gasly down the inside. He's going to try and make it work. We're going to hold it though and keep the position. There we go. Up the speed. Can we try and follow these guys in front? That'd be great if we could. Gasly's going to come back at me again here. We're going to cover the inside. Show Gasly the long way around. But Gasly doesn't quite commit to it. So yeah, we've got that position, which is good. And we can now try and settle into this race. And hopefully try and catch up to Grosjean. You never know, try and make a move. The fact Grosjean started last and got that dive into turn 1, I still find that incredible. How in the hell has he pulled that off? He's dived 7 cars into one corner. That is incredible. But we've done a good job ourselves of diving a couple of cars. But now we've got to see how this race pans out. It's a long race, 27 laps ahead of us. Let's see how this goes and let's have a little bit of fun. Here comes Gasly again. He's got the momentum. That Toro Rosso is very fast in the straight. Gasly makes the move. I'm going to try and set him up for the switchback. No DRS yet, so we're kind of on the back foot. That Toro Rosso is very fast in the straight. And I think we might have to concede that position, to be honest with you. Yeah, we're going to have to give that one up, unfortunately, but I don't mind. If Gasly gets me closer to Grosjean, then that's not a bad thing. Right, I've actually dropped out Gasly's DRS, so here comes Van Dorn. He's making the move down the outside this time. I'm just not that good on the brakes. Van Dorn tries to turn in. I'm going to switch back underneath. Get the power down early on. I think I should have DRS. Yes, we do. There we go. That's going to allow me to just power past Verstappen, looking racy in the Red Bull. Caught down the inside. Very close there. I think Verstappen might have gone for the lunge, but either way we stay in front. Good defensive driving. Still a personal best in amongst that battling. Looks like we've got a slow moving car though, which is bunching up the pack a little bit, which is going to be a good thing for us to try and catch up. Looks like we have a slow moving Force India, which is causing this. I think it's a Force India, might be someone else, but either way, it's going to allow us to have DRS on gas. You can see how much we lose though on acceleration. Absolutely incredible how much we lose. Luckily though, we've got DRS, which kind of helps. But we are not overtaking anybody on the straights anytime soon when it comes to raw pace. I mean, look at that. Look how Gasly pulls away. That's incredible. Turns out the slow moving car is actually Carlos Sainz in the Renault. So, yeah, it's going to be hopefully a very swift pass sometime soon. We're all over the back of Gasly here. But look at the acceleration. I mean, that is ridiculous how much he gains. Through turn 1, Gasly there. A little bit defensive. Sainz now gets overtaken by Grosjean. We are lurking all over the back of these guys. We're actually getting off the throttle here. Let's see if Gasly goes for it. On Sainz around the outside. Will he pull it off? We're going to try and set up the switchback into the hairpin. I want to try and go around the outside of Carlos Sainz. Oh, it's close, but we do get it. Just about. We're side by side with the Renault man. We lose out on acceleration and also on straight line speed. We're going to try and gain some speed back though. This time going down to the inside of Carlos. On the brakes, there we go. Late move. Carlos keeping his car there, but we are going to get it. For now at least. Now Carlos is going to fly past me here. And Van Dorn as well, 3 wide. As we get sandwiched here. I have to get out of it. Van Dorn locks up, so I can't turn into the corner. Oh, we've lost out big time. We really have. What was potential to actually get past Gasly and Sainz has turned it into a double position loss. Great. Okay, Sainz comes in. I was just about to go for a lunge there on Van Dorn, but never mind. Stoffel is on the Hypersoft, so it's to be expected. He has more grip. Alonso in the pit lane as well. But let's see, we lock up the right front to turn 1. Let's see if we can get past Van Dorn maybe, you never know. First track extend of the race. Rear tyres are starting to get a little bit loose. Definitely feels like they're getting a bit hot. So we've got to be careful with those. Gasly's got past Grosjean. So he's making progress. We've got a Sauber in the pit lane. I'm guessing that's going to be Marcus Ericsson. There we go. Ferrari leaving the pit exit. That's going to be Sebastian Vettel, of course, because he's leading the race. So he's got that gap that he needs. There you go. Left rear. Look at that. It's getting hot. Hopefully he can cool down on this back straight. That's the only chance it's going to get to cool down. Right, more cars in the pit lane. Van Dorn comes in. This is one of them races now where I'm trying to manage my rear tyres basically. Multiple cars though in the pit lane this time. We're going to gain a handful of places. And we are up to P8. Right, then we've got Lewis Hamilton behind us on fresh Hypersofts. Here he goes. I'm going to run the high engine modes. Obviously, the longer we compete in these higher positions, the better for us in our race. But I do still kind of need a safety car or a VSC to cool off the tyres a little bit at least, to really take the pressure off. I feel like the super softs might be okay. These are just borderline when it comes to tyre temperature issues. And I need something a little bit more harder when it comes to tyre compound to really help me out. But we are going to hold P9 for now. A couple more cars in the pit lane, which is going to promote us a few more places. As Raikkonen hits the back of me there. Quite interesting. I'm struggling on my rears through here especially. You've got to be so careful. These 2 corners are deadly. I'm having to get off the throttle. But we managed to stay in front. Raikkonen looking very racy here. Very punchy. Again, he hits the back of me. Not sure what he's trying to do there. Going around the outside, but we're staying in front of Kimi for now. We are going to start forming this train of cars, which at the moment, it's actually Verstappen who's leading this train. I think he might have some damage or he might have some car issues because he can't really keep up the pace. Here comes Kimi though. He's going to go down the inside. Took him quite a while to really get close, but he's got the job done. I'm just going to basically get on the brakes quite early, let him have the position, and I will take some DRS. Brendan Hartley behind me now. Let's try not let him get past if I can avoid it, because he's in the same strategy as me. Let's try and stay in front of Brendan if we can. That'd be ideal. You can see that train of cars behind starting to form, which is being led by Verstappen. The longer he stays at the front, which he will do for another lap at least, that's good. Stroll's right behind Verstappen as well, so a couple of back markers starting to really hold up that train, which is helping me out in terms of my quest to making the strategy work as we near our pit window.
Check.
Well, it's going to be a challenge staying ahead of Hartley. I got a great exit through the hairpin, really set myself up for the slow in, fast out approach. Here comes Hartley. We're going to force him outside because I want to try and beat him for position. Late on the brakes, down the inside, lock up on the left front, but we avoid him hanging it around the outside. And we are going to get the traction out of there, which I always tend to do compared to the AI. And we stay in front for at least another lap. We're scheduled to come in on lap 12, so if we can beat Hartley to the pit lane, that would be fantastic. Also, another lap, and Verstappen and Stroll stay in front of those AI cars, which is good news. It does feel like my tyres have recovered a little bit on the rear. They don't feel as hot anymore. I refuse to look at the temperatures just in case, because I feel like it's a bit of a mental thing. Once you get them hot, you kind of can't get it out of your head, but I'm basically trying to manage it mentally. So at the moment, it's actually quite manageable, and I'm able to drive at a decent pace, and I've kind of found a little bit of rhythm, which is keeping Hartley at bay, as you can see. But for sure, we've got to be careful of not overdoing it. Here we go again. I tried to get the good exit. Hartley's approaching. I don't think it's going to be enough, so I don't have to actually get defensive this time. And we can stay in front of him, which is good news. He's had a good exit this time around though, onto the back straight, but again, I don't think he's close enough. Or, as he is, he's definitely turned up the engine mode there, you can tell. He really cranked up that Honda power unit. We are going to squeeze him a little bit and avoid him hanging around the outside, and we stay in front of Brendan. So, again, I've got this under control, and we remain in 8th place. I just had to have a little look, and you can see my rears. They're in the danger zone-ish. Just got to be careful, but 103 is kind of like the borderline. Any more than that, you're in trouble. But we've got the 2 straights coming up very soon, which should be good enough to give our tyres a break. Here comes Hartley. Again, he's going to have DRS. He's a little bit closer this time around. Here you can see him gaining the momentum. I'm going to pull to the left-hand side, let him get some form of air in his face. On the brakes, very late, defending this position as hard as I can. Focusing on my exit, very nice traction there. That's going to be enough to keep us in front. So we managed to stay in front yet again, and we're coming in this lap, so we've done the job. Right, here we go. We've survived the tyre temperature issues in this first stint as we lose the back end there into the pit lane. Hartley stays out, I think. Yeah, he stays out. So Hartley's going to try and go for that overcut. We're going to pit in, play it safe. We've got Gazzy in the pit lane along with Daniel Ricciardo here. If there was a safety car now or a VSC, that'd be great. But let's see. Great stop, 1.9, very quick, no hold up, which is what you want. Onto a brand new set of super soft compound tyres. A sub 2 second stop. Up to speed we go. Now we've got to leave the pit lane here. Have a good out lap. And try to make sure we stay ahead of Hartley, who should come in this lap. So here we go, let's have this out lap. Let's make it count. Okay, Stroll pits in, as does everyone else. Let's see where we rejoin. Hartley's in the pit lane. He's leaving the pit exit now. We've got Alonso Pachuff here in the McLaren. He's on ultras. He's got to stop again. So I'm not too concerned if he passes us, but we do stay ahead of Hartley critically by quite some way. You can see the difference on the fresh tyre. And we remain in front of the Kiwi, which is good stuff. As we take our second corner cut penalty of the race. Got to be careful with those. Alonso's lurking here in the background. I think he's going to pass me, to be honest with you, unless his straight line speed isn't all that. Let's see what happens. Oh yeah, he's all over me. This is going to be a very easy pass for Alonso. And I don't want him to waste too much time. It's going to bring Hartley back into play, but you can see Alonso can't get the job done. I'm going to have to leave him in the room. Unfortunately, this is going to cost me time, and Hartley's going to really close the gap here and pick up some DRS. Hopefully I can get DRS off Alonso and stay in front. Oh, that should be okay. No, we can't lose time. We've got to keep going here. Right, we've got a Sauber in the pit lane as we set our personal best. That's Marcus Ericsson. And we are up to P14 now. So, good progress here. I'm just trying to hope I can stay out of a second of Hartley and keep him behind in DRS. But I think he's already too close. That Toro Rosso is way too fast in a straight line. Here we go, Hartley closing me down, rate of knots. I'm going to show him the long way around. Into the chicane, Hartley tries to go on the outside. He does pull it off, to be fair, to his credit, but we are going to find the traction. Unfortunately, Hartley's going to have the DRS. Here he goes right on the outside. I'm going to try and push him as much as I can. Down the inside, can't quite work. And Hartley gets the move done. After all this time, he finally gets past. But I'm not going to give up. I want to try and follow him and try and get him back on the next lap if I can. I don't want to let him just get away. Kept within Hartley's DRS, but he's just got too much acceleration. I just can't match it. I think this one's gone. Unless he comes back to me later on, then I think we're not going to be able to get him right now. Personal best by 1.5 seconds. It's good pace. Multiple cars in the pit lane. We're going to go all the way up to P12, but still not in the points, unfortunately. Alonso's got to pit again, so that's going to be P11 in theory. And then Hartley would have been P10, but he's unfortunately got past. Okay, we've got a couple of cars in the pit lane. We've got Alonso and Ocon in the pits, which means we are going to jump up into the top 10. So I think that's all of the pit stops now. We've got Perez on the back of us. He's on fresh ultras, so unfortunately I don't think there's much we can do about this. Look at that, he's actually going to my outside already, and we can't really do much about this, unfortunately. Force India is so good on the straight. Perez trying to make a move. I'm going to show him the long way around at the hairpin, try and keep him behind, but he's got so much more grip on those tyres. This is going to be a pretty tricky one to defend from, I think, on the straight. We all know how fast that Force India is. We've also got two Renaults as well behind us, and we all know they're the fastest car on the grid, so this is going to be a tricky one, unfortunately. Perez goes clean around the outside into the chicane, and it's a nice move from Perez. I got on the brakes a little bit too early there, but I just don't have the confidence Perez does. This car is very, like, it's just crap on the brakes. It really is. So we're now out of the top 10. We've got Bottas behind, my former teammate. Let's try and keep him behind if we can. Oh, yellow flag. And the car's pulled off. That's Daniel Ricciardo, who's pulled up there at the side of the track. And we are now back into the top 10. Bottas, though, looking for a move. I'm going to cover the inside, show him the long way around. A little bit of contact, hand goes up in anger, but we do stay in front of Bottas. And now Sainz has got past. So, interesting developments here as Ricciardo retires in the Red Bull. With less than 10 laps to go, we are still in the top 10. I'm struggling though. Struggling big time now. These tyres are starting to overheat a little bit on the rear. And even though I can control it, my pace is just nowhere near where it should be. And the AI are wanting to get past. Oh, I've got Alonso in the pit lane, so there we go. Alonso finally comes in, so we're now into P9, so we've actually got 2 positions safe. So if Bottas passed me, I'd still actually get a chance of finishing the top 10. Bottas is looking racy here. I'm covering all the possible angles, but I think it's only a matter of time. Sainz did just come into the pit lane, I just noticed as well, so that's one less Renault to worry about, but I think we're still going to be in trouble. Back in there, stepping up massively. That's going to do me absolutely no favours. Here comes Valtteri. We're going to cover off the inside. Can we drag race my former car? I don't think we can. Hulkenberg to the inside. Oh my god, a 2 for 1. And just like that, we are out of the top 10 as quick as that. Look at the speed difference, man. It's ridiculous. This car isn't even that bad. It's just so bad for straight line speed. It just cannot compete. When it comes to ERS and rich mix, we are running on fumes. And here comes Esteban Ocon here. The Force India, the fastest car on the straights and the entire grid pretty much. Can't compete with that. You can see it for yourselves. I'm going to try and set up the switchback, but there's absolutely no point. And now we've got Ericsson behind. That Sauber also incredibly fast on the straights. Hopefully with Ocon's DRS we should be able to stay in front, which we do. But that Sauber's going to pass me very soon, unfortunately. Just so fast on the straights. Actually, Stroll is actually catching up to me here, my own teammate. So this is looking bad at the minute. We might get beaten by Lance Stroll. Okay, well, a decent exit out the hairpin, but I still think Ericsson is going to chew me up. And look at this. Look at the Sauber go on the straight, just like the Force India. Ericsson gets the job done. And now we've got Lance Stroll behind for company, my own teammate. At least we should be able to stay in front of Lance. That shouldn't be an issue. And now I won't be getting interrupted by people that are in faster cars. We can just drive at our own pace. Let's try and stay ahead of a second and hopefully Stroll can stay out of my DRS if possible. That'd be ideal. That was actually quite an enjoyable lap. It wasn't a great lap, but just driving by myself without any distractions or interruptions when it comes to overtakes, just being able to manage things by myself. A hell of a lot better. Gap to Stroll 1.8, and we can manage that, that's fine. Yellow flag behind. Something's happened. I think it's Max Verstappen in the other Red Bull. Max pulls up, and he's out of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Some information on Stroll. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Oh, Stroll's got car trouble, and I can actually see, I didn't even realise, he's actually dropped back quite a bit. So Stroll with car issues. We've now got Van Dorn for company here in this race for the second time. Can we stay in front? I'm not convinced. I really am not. Right, here we go. Overtake ERS engaged. Stoffel goes for the move. I'm going to cover off the inside. Show him the long way around yet again. Hot on the brakes. Little lock up on the left front. But we do stay in front of Van Dorn. Crucially. Oh, I can't even get the power down now. Really struggling. I've done enough to stay in front, but we are in no man's land when it comes to these tyres. Okay, decent exit, but Van Dorn is already onto me here. This time he goes to the inside. Carlos Sainz lurking in the Renault here. He's going to try and go to the outside. 3 wide. Oh my god, I'm getting sandwiched in here. Sainz and Van Dorn making the move. Trying to get the power down them, but I've just not got nothing left, man. These tyres have had it. Oh, they really have had it, and also the acceleration in this car is just not there. Sainz flies past off of Van Dorn like he's not even there. We've completely got our braking point wrong. Luckily, we just stay in front of Alonso. But oh my god, these tyres are toast, man. Absolutely done. Oh no. Oof. My god, that car got loose through there. The rear tyres are gone. I'm just really trying to defend from Alonso now as much as I can. Through the hairpin, right, Vettel wins the race. He signs off in style. Can we defend from Fernando Alonso here? I think we've got a chance. Look at this, Alonso is so much closer than Van Dorn was. I'm going to try and tuck in for some slipstream though. Try and help myself. Try and come back at Alonso. But yeah, look how late Alonso can brake. I just can't match that. And I've got 54 brake bias, but I'm going to lock up my front if I brake that late. There's something about this car that it's so easy to lock up the front tyres on this, even if you're running like 52 brake bars like I have been all weekend. The fronts really want to lock up, and I look forward to going back to the Mercedes and driving a car that can actually brake late. I feel like I'm going to be a late braking master when I go back to the Mercedes compared to this car. Either way, it's going to be P16 out of 18 runners. Considering we started P19, we made progress. Ultimately, it's been a very up and down season. I've enjoyed it. I've actually enjoyed this race, believe it or not, much more than Brazil. A lot more battling, having to fight for it. And felt very much like the sort of race Van Dorn drove in the real life Grand Prix. But all in all, this is going to be it. And this is going to be the curtain call for Season 4 of Career Mode. Final corner for the final time. And the job is done. And Season 4 is in the books. I'm guessing the celebration is because of the championship. I hope it is anyway, because that race, P16, was not worth celebrating for. All in all, a decent weekend. Right, so looking at the final race results, Sebastian Vettel wins the finale at Abu Dhabi ahead of Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton. Kimi Raikkonen P4 ahead of Pierre Gasly, and then Sergio Perez P6 ahead of Romain Grosjean, who started from last place. Fair play to Romain, great performance. Brendan Hartley P8, Valtteri Bottas P9, Nico Hülkenberg P10. To think we was battling with the likes of Gasly and Perez just about 10 laps ago was pretty amazing, and look how high up we could have finished. All in all though, you can see Ocon there 11th, Ericsson 12th, Sainz 13th, Van Dorn 14th, and then further down we have Alonso 15th, myself 16th, Kevin Magnussen 17th, and Lance Stroll running off the actual classified runners along with Verstappen and Ricciardo, both of the Red Bulls, double DNF in what has been a horrible season for the team, and they'll be looking to bounce back next year. But all in all, that was it for Abu Dhabi. We're now going to move into the standings for the final time this season. You can see there, we wrap up 2018, or you could say at this point 2021. I don't even know what the season is, but basically season 4, we wrap it up by picking up 260 points to Sebastian Vettel's 234. And yeah, all in all, a great season for us. In terms of the constructors, again, just to confirm, Mercedes win by a landslide, and Ferrari ultimately fell short. Sauber really came strong right at the end of the season there, overtaking Force India for third place. But that is it for season 4, guys, and pretty much it's been a very good season. I've enjoyed it. We clinched the championship, or both championships you could say, in the form of the constructors as well, which I think I played my part in a big way. And yeah, all in all, very, very happy. But now it's time for a new era, and we once again rejoin Mercedes, but this time with tougher competition with Lewis Hamilton alongside. It's going to be a good season. I'm looking forward to it. If you guys did enjoy this video, then drop a like. Also, do get subscribed for daily Formula 1 content and turn on notifications to not miss a single upload from me. Finally, check out these 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But other than that, guys, thank you for watching this episode of Career Mode, and I'll see you on my next one very soon. But until then, it's goodbye from me.